Alrighty. So, last time you guys decided you were going to help out Wishes in his attempt to drive the poor owner of the Pink Flumph to
Out of business?
well, not necessarily out of business, but to distraction to the point where she was willing to give up the business.
Exactly. Oblar, you have a new friend, in case you didn't do that. You've really befriended a fairy dragon.
Yep. And have decided to
So-
help them run off the cruel mistress of the theater's previous owner.
Did you do up a fairy dragon by chance?
I didn't set that up separately
Except
because
for future. I think that'd be
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool to have one in our party, so...
well,
Sort of like
it would
Secret
be
is.
more like that. It would be a NPC that I would probably control.
Yeah, but I mean, just sort of like secret.
Yeah, you could just request they do stuff, but it's not necessarily going to be a, oh yeah, I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah, but I want them to be a party member, so we suggest and we think, and then they
Yep.
react as their own, just like sort of like Secret does. I think it'd be pretty cool to have
So-
Wishes as part of party member. It gets me immersed into this story more.
Oh yeah. So, did you guys finalize what your plan was going to be to deal with the owner of the Pink Flumph?
Can you refresh us on what we discovered? Because I'm at a blank.
On what you discovered?
Yeah, from Wishes, how he was treated, or what we need to do. I just can't remember anything about the. Guess I'm getting old and senile. I don't remember that part of the adventure.
Wishes basically gave you a scale to signal when you guys had figured out what you were going to do to further disturb Iocaste, and because basically she wasn't treating the employees of the Pink Flumph very well. She was basically just using the whole thing as a way to further her efforts to rub elbows with the elites of the city rather than actually taking care of her people.
Okay, well, I got an idea that we'll discuss while we're outside that. Is let's use the part that I hate about but you know, I'm playing Baldur's Gate. Waterdeep and all of the guilds and the unions. Let's use that to our advantage. Let's sort of use the union to file workers' complaints, basically, and unionize the actors. Come up with the Actors and Screenwriters Guild. Oh no, that's actually real life. But you know what I mean. I think that would be so Waterdeep oriented.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Blar, Faye, Keith?
For forming the Waterdavian branch of the Actors and Screen and Playwrights Guild.
Is there one?
Well, considering it's a Waterdeep, there's probably a guild for just about everything.
Well, let's do our research to see if there is a guild, and then let's come up and let's get them to file a guild grievance against the person.
All right.
So, first of all, I
so-
guess I'll use my ability. Actually, that's something that, as one of my actions is not actions, but I think that's one of my abilities is urban infrastructure, and not necessarily infrastructure, but I think infrastructure is also part of the guilds and who socializes. I might not get the blueprints and stuff, but at least I get, okay, is there a guild? Is that what you contact for?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me I'm going to say history check or persuasion check.
I'll go with the history.
To run around asking questions and stuff, or doing
19.
some research. Nice. Okay. So you do some research. It appears that there is both a guild for playhouse owners and a guild for playwrights, but there seems to be a strange little hole in the middle of the actual actors. There doesn't seem to be any active guilds that represent them.
All right, we're going to go off on a tangent, Stephen. It's not going to be in the book. So we're going to start a guild.
Okay.
So I wanted to do the research to figure out what we need to do to establish an official guild in the city of Waterdeep.
All right. So
I'll go to the courthouse and do all that. Use my research and stuff to do that, and then we're actually gonna have a actors guild. We're going to establish one. We're going to have the votes and everything else to figure out what we're going to do there. Then let Blar do her thing so she can communicate with everybody to influence them to join the new Actors Guild. Of course, it's going to be citywide, so is there any other city stages and circuses and things like that might possibly join this guild?
So what exactly is your guild going to be for? Because like right now they've got like Baker's Guild, Carpenter, Roofer, Plasterers, Innkeepers, Fishmongers, Carvers, things like that. So what is your guild aiming at?
The rank and file actors / performer / juggler.
So you want to make an entertainers guild, basically.
That they're not getting yes, an entertainers guild would be appropriate for Waterdeep versus an actors guild for Hollywood. But
okay.
Yes. Type thing, and we're not looking to do anything corruption. We're actually going to try to protect them.
Yep. So in order to set up...
Corruption comes down the line after a few years.
So in order to set up the guild, you're told that you will need to get at least 50 people to sign on and be part of the membership.
All right, so party, how much do we want to charge to join our guild?
What's a normal fee?
All right, so based upon what we're paying all these other guilds to do that, what is the average guild fee? I mean, we got the Brewers Guild, we have all the other guilds, so what's the average guild fee?
It does.
And I'm not trying to make money off this. I just want us to determine what it is, and then we can reduce it. So something that's getting mistreated poor that they want to join our guild, but something that's free has no value. Nothing is ever free.
Yeah, especially when you're going to have to be paying for registering the guild with the guild masters and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
I will say the cost of guild membership does vary based on, what the guild does and what the average income of the guild's members are, because you have everything from the guild of dung sweepers who probably make, a few copper a day, all the way up to jewelers and fine carvers who, probably make tens or hundreds of copper a day.
Alright, so Blar, what I'd like you to do is go
needs-based fee.
So, looking at that, you guys guess that the fee is probably about 1/20th of their annual income for the entire year, usually divided up by the months to make it more convenient instead of having to save that large of a sum over the year and keep a hold of it. So
if we do it like a sliding scale based on need,
you would guess that the Entertainers Guild would potentially cover everything from like circus sideshow performers who are making a few coppers to headline actors who might make several gold a night.
Okay, now here's the something that I would like to get into with that, and it is that
You there?
for these then the bad influences
I
that
lost
actually
the middle portion of that.
Well, I'm just thinking it is for planning purposes in my mind. So obviously we're not going to advertise it right now because we're not in a position to provide protection for all these people. I'm not talking about extortion protection. I'm talking about actually real life protection from the Zentarum and the other people that are trying to get into their things. So that's where we're looking down the road to expand to possibly. But
well, okay, so that would actually start dipping into the direction of the Order of Magisters and Protectors. Generally, what the Guild for Entertainers would do is you would look at people's qualifications and kind of verify that they are qualified to do the work that they say they're going to do. In other words, you don't want somebody showing up saying that, yes, I'm a master illusionist who knows one minor illusion.
Unless they're really good at the side show with that. But yes, but we're trying to do everything else. But we're basically more for the flump and stuff. But let's go ahead and do it. And Blar, I think you should contact our associate at the local. I don't remember the name of the publication, but our People Magazine / National Enquirer that is in town. I don't remember the name of it. But
the local rag sheet.
Yeah, so basically, let's take out a little ad for that and everything else and start just letting them know that we're going to be in contact with them. So I think you should be the contact to start meeting these people and stuff. So we'll find out who they are and start going around and representing them and the benefits of it. And I really want the benefits to be something for them, to make sure they're getting paid. And when I'm talking about protections, I'm talking about making sure they're getting paid what they're worth, that no one else is stepping on their toes, and they're not being mistreated.
Waterdeep Wazoo.
Yeah, exactly. But then more focused on really emphasizing and putting our effort. That's just going to be an effort citywide a little bit, but really emphasizing the Pink Flumph, or whichever the thing is, to get all those people to sign up and start doing that. So I think that should be our plan. However, I need spokespersons for this plan because I'm not the spokesperson type people. I'm the person that comes up with the plans. I need other people to execute them. Blar?
Well, you know the ranger is not the spokesperson.
Maybe not
She
for
likes
this,
to
but you
hide in the
might.
dark.
However, you might be the spokesperson when we start dealing with the protecting of the local farmers and stuff. All right, we're going to start our own guilds. We're going to become the guild masters. Fight fire with fire. I hate the guilds, but if I'm going to be involved with the guilds, I'm going to go at full force. I'm just going to. They say they don't know what they poke Torin. He's going to control
So
this
basically,
city.
the jack of all trades.
We got Keith, our enforcer, so it's all good. All right, so how would we go about that, Stephen? What do we need to do? I mean, our character would know, but how would we do that?
Yeah, so first you're
going
gonna
to role play all that stuff.
First of all, you're gonna need to do some advertising or talking to people and trying to convince them that they should go to join you. I mean, that's going to be the biggest and trickiest thing to do is convincing people to join your up and coming guild.
Well, it's their guild, but
And by this time, have we made a name for ourselves? We're kind of well known by now.
I mean, there are people in the city who know your name, yeah. You do have
and of course,
several nobles who know your name, so if you wanted to try and use them as kind of a, hey, we've got noble patronage that, you know, being associated with our guild may even help you get that sorted out and stuff. That's entirely up to you guys how you want to utilize that.
But if we put an ad in the paper, people are going to know we have a reputation.
Depending on how you do it, yeah.
so I'll put I just put in the chat window there, but so like any bard that wants to perform or anything else, well, they have to be a member of our guild. We'll allow them to perform for their supper or whatever else to do that, but they do have to be a member of the Entertainers Guild in order to perform in our establishment. I can't remember the name of it, but
Yeah. So, do you want to try and expand that and get other, like the entire Innkeepers Guild to be part of this? Of like, yeah, we're gonna back the Entertainers Guild by all innkeepers only allowing actual Entertainers Guild people to be part of or to perform in their taverns, or you know, how far do you guys want to take this to create this guild?
all right, so that's a long-term goal. For a short-term goal, we're just really trying to establish it in the Pink Flumph, for I think it's the Pink Flumph, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, so that's our short-term goal. Long-term goal, yes, but that would be something beyond, I think, this role-playing session as far as that goes. But yes, I would like to have as far as getting immersed in this city and everything else for role-playing purposes, yes, I'd like to have the innkeepers at the Yawning Portal and the other inns accept the people guild members. And of course, we want to give like a like the 5-star rating type thing where we actually give them feedback about how good these performers are. So it's actually they get a benefit. I'm not trying to take their money. I want to be a wash as far as I'm concerned. It's a benefit to the city if we have everything else. And so then we can sort of have our own like little blacklist if people are doing things that aren't appropriate. So that'd be down the road. So we can get into that later, but I don't want to get all that in tonight. But for tonight's protocol play in this session, let's focus on getting it started. At our own tavern, they have to be that, but down the road, yeah, we can role play that down the road. I think that'd be pretty cool as we start moving up.
Okay. So you guys are gonna go ahead and try And
So we're
so basically
So
what
we're
you
gonna
have to
Blar
do
contact the.
is you're going to need to get
I'll have-
a minimum number of signatures from people in town to join, that they're going to join this guild if you create it. And then once
Okay.
you get that, then you can go ahead and talk to the guild master and get the guild officially set up and go from there.
All right. So the first thing I want to do is get with the Printers Guild, the person that does the, or even the person that did that we already have contact that does the printing of the National Enquirer, the Waterdeep
Wazoo.
Enquirer,
Yeah.
the Wazoo, to print us up some additional flyers about that, and I'll have basically Blar edit to.
Okay, so I got basically Blar, and then
Be my-
everything got cut off.
I will say something one way, and she said, "No, you don't want to say it that way. That's gonna piss people off." All right, so she's gonna be the person. So we have this like flyer that we can hand out to people about the benefits of our guild. All right.
So Blar is your
and what we're
is your
doing and what our
PR
interest is.
manager, basically.
Yes, I'll do the intellectual part because that's what I'm good at. We'll let Bar do the charismatic, how to actually
How to win
how to
friends and
say
influence
things in a
people.
way that they will actually accept and do that stuff. So using the synergy of our two systems,
Okay.
and so that way we can put out the flyers. We can hand it to a juggler. We can hand it to a fire eater. We can hand it to whatever entertainer. So even if they don't do it now, and we can create some flyers and stuff that. Doing the modern marketing, we basically starting a marketing campaign for it,
Yep.
basically type thing. And so you can let it know because obviously it's not going to take effect immediately, but down the road it can take effect. You can let us know how that works. So it's not for benefit of us; it's for the benefit of Waterdeep, and we'll actually get with the Protectors Guild and see what we can do to provide protection for some of these people that are being mistreated and stuff, and what that entails. And so.
All
Gathering
right.
our information.
Yep. So, couple of questions, because this will be stuff that people will ask you along the way. First off, why should they join a guild that's not led by an entertainer? Because none of you guys are like bards or anything like that do a lot of entertaining. So they're gonna want to know what you guys offer that they would want to join the guild that you guys are forming. And then number two...
Let's answer one at a time. So, first of all, we are not entertainers. We are the people that would be hiring entertainers. So we have an interest in, because we consider entertainers part of our family. They are family members. They have skills that we don't have. Since we own a tavern, we want the entertainers and everything else, and we see a need for entertainers, and we're not, but some of our friends are entertainers, and we want what's best for them and the city. It's a win-win situation. All right, number two.
So aside from who's in charge and everything like that, they also kind of want to know what benefits you guys are offering them. Aside from just like a ranking system and stuff like that, are you going to help with things like making sure that only so many street performers are on specific roads, and how are you going to manage people coming in from like traveling play groups and things like that? How are they going to be managed under this, and those kinds of things.
All right. So for that to answer those questions, all right, I'm gonna actually have to get with the legal system with that and do my research and everything else with the infrastructure and stuff to find out what I can do. I don't want to make any fake promises, if that makes sense to you. So that I'm not telling them that. I'm just telling the dungeon master that is I want to know what I can offer them.
Well,
so what I'm looking to offer them is to make sure that they're
the part that's unique is most of the guilds in Waterdeep cover businesses or services provided in the city by people in the city. You're not going to end up with somebody coming from out of town and brewing ale in Waterdeep and then moving on after one batch. They're going to come and set up their business and do their thing. So it's that weirdness that you do have traveling play groups that come through and they may set up, outside the city limits or in a large park or something like that. Are you going to require them to get a temporary permit or, compensate the entertainers that would have been in that area if they hadn't showed up for the loss of their activities? Or is that what part of, are you going to, if they get a temporary permit, are they going to do that? There really isn't anything in the guild bylaws for most of the other ones to fall back on. So this is kind of, you're going to just have to decide how that works. And basically the way Waterdeep works is if you snub one of the guilds, you could find yourself unable to do business with others. So if you get the other guilds involved and get them backing this, then what it could mean is, okay, a traveling entertainers group comes in, they don't get their entertainer permit from you to set up for the week in a park. Well, now, none of the butchers will come, or none of the people will come to give them animal food or things like that to let them do business over the time that they're there, because they aren't paying their guild dues. So
okay, so we're going to be...
Or how about one of the tenets being that in order for them to set up and perform, that a certain percentage, they have to include a certain percentage of Waterdeep entertainers and...
Again, this is all stuff you guys have to decide on and figure out if you're going to set this guild up, is how are we going to manage this? Or you can just say, look, this is only for citizens of Waterdeep and we have no authority over non-citizens, so if they show up and do their thing, they show up and do their thing. There's not much we can do about it.
Well, what? Go ahead, Teresa.
I was just thinking that, but there's someone that has control of the property, no?
Loosely, the Order of Magisters would possibly be able to say, this isn't a lawful gathering, you need to move on. If there was some kind of prohibition about it, but at the moment, there is not. So you do get traveling groups that come through, spend a week or so, maybe a couple of days, doing a play or something like that, and then they pack up and move on to the next town.
With no benefit to Waterdeep.
Well, I mean, it provides entertainment, generally a bit cheaper than people could go see it at a regular theater. Some of these traveling groups do rent out theaters too. They'll rent out the theater and have the theater crew do all the special effects while they just do the acting. So it runs a fairly wide gambit. I wouldn't say that it gives no benefit to Waterdeep, because usually you'll end up with people who or like street vendors for food and stuff like that will set up nearby, and people who sell like animal feed and stuff like that will make money by selling feed to these traveling performers for their caravan animals and stuff like that. So it's not that they don't give any benefit, it's just the entertainers would probably like to see some protections for themselves for when these traveling groups do come through.
All right, so this is what we want
and like you said,
to communicate to them is
so,
the fact that we don't have all power in that, but we are going to basically be working towards, to the best of our ability, as time permits and everything else, and resources allow, to protect the entertainers, to make sure that entertainers are involved and get paid for their things. Anything outside the city limits and jurisdiction, we really won't have any control over anyhow, other than possibly, I won't say, we don't really necessarily want to go into the dark habits where we're intimidating and everything else. However, they might find it very difficult to get, well, you want to have your circus, but none of the vendors supply, none of the food vendors are out there supplying food for your thing. So no one wants to go to the state fair or the city fair.
It'd be really hard to convince people to come out and spend a day at a entertainer's venue if basically suddenly all of the food options vanished.
Exactly, but I'm not saying that we're going to be... I don't want to become a mafia, so I'm trying to...
I completely understand that, but these people...
We're trying to communicate that what we're trying to do is we have limited resources, but in our best interest, we're trying what's best for the vendors to become the best that we can with them, right? Or vendors, but the things. So some things we have control over, some things we have to do that, and then we'll have to figure out with their feedback sometimes. And of course, we'll get the guild gets to make the final decision on what happens, but we will listen to their feedback on what possible solutions, because we want a win-win environment and all that. So that's some of the things we'll communicate as we're going on down the road. That's going to be over years to actually communicate something like that. But let's get our initial establishment to start our inside the city entertainers guild of the actors and and expand out down the road. We can go that way later on down the road.
And at some point have a town hall at our establishment to kind of get the pulse of what
needs to happen.
They need. What did you say?
I agreed with you. What needs to happen? Their pulse, what needs to happen. And then we figure out how we can do it.
Yep.
And not everything is going to be us. Sometimes it's going to be other city factions, and we'll have to make contacts in the city about how we find information out, how we make the contacts, which guilds we have to do, which people we need to talk to at which guild. That's way beyond this one role-playing section. We'll give Steve a headache. Trying to figure it out if we went to all the realms. But basically, get it in the nutshell is we're going to start establishing the guild and we're really going to focus on the Pink Flumph to make sure they're the strongest, and we're right there. We're going to use them to set the example of what the guild can be to protect the workers that are getting mistreated at the Pink Flumph. So that's the route we're trying to take, and we'll of course use our charismatic spokesperson Blar as to contact these people and do that to the best of her ability. I've got the outline. the execution is up to the performers, which is Blar and maybe Keith for some intimidation if we need
But we're not a mafia.
Oh no, Torin will be a mafia.
All right, so I just put in the Discord chat some things to consider for your guild. So if you guys want to discuss that during the week, come up with some ideas and kind of have somebody write up a tentative charter, that would probably be what you would need to do to get this off the ground.
Alex, is that something you're willing to do? You like to write? I won't have time to do it.
Yeah. The charter does not have to be written in legalese. It can be just basic, here's how we're going to organize, here's who's going to be in charge, here's how we're going to make decisions, here's how we're going to benefit and protect our members, here's how we're going to deal with the non-members, what's it going to cost to be a member, and is there certain requirements like you have to have attended a college of bardic knowledge or something like that, or spent so many years doing things in one way or another to be accredited at certain levels, all that kind of stuff. If you want some inspiration, you can always look at different state agencies that do the equivalent of South Carolina's labor licensing and I forget what the R is, but it's called LLR, labor licensing and something else. But they handle like saying, oh yes, you're a professional engineer, or you're a professional well driller, or you have the ability to do these kinds of projects. So that would probably be a place to start if you wanted to have some ideas of how things could be organized. But
Alex, do you think that's something you can be willing to do this week?
I don't.
It didn't have to be perfect. There's
well, and you've got 2 weeks because we're. Let's see. We're.
Besides, you're smart enough to figure out what things would be like. So basically, you can doing that. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can edit it down the road.
Well, you actually have a whole month because we're not scheduled again till the 28th. Because you're out, Todd, for the 14th.
Yeah, and then you take off for Christmas.
So.
Yep.
That would be that. I'm hoping that everything goes well next week and I can get my new computer put together. I don't have to have any problems on Saturday. But
Be right back.
Yeah, I mean, I need a log. I can
the other thing is Alex, you don't have to do it all yourself. You can discuss it with everybody throughout the week, or 2 or 3, and then once you've got a solid idea, then you can put it all together. So, that is entirely up to you. But, so you guys kind of can get this started, like advertising that that you guys are working to form this. You're requesting information from the people that would be potential members as to what kind of guild they'd be looking for, and get that started.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
All right. So.
So now we need to go smack something so Keith can get involved.
Keith wants to
Hey,
watch
what?
something? That's that doesn't sound like Keith at all.
No, but yeah, Alex, don't be intimidated by it. Just come up with some ideas about what you think would go. Write some notes in a thing and send it. We'll figure it out. We'll have something down the road. But basically, we're focused on the Pink Flumph. So basically, what we want to do is do whatever you got to do. Start the initial stages of it, and it will be to be determined everything else. And let's start communicating with some of the actors and stuff. Basically, make sure they're basically realizing they're being mistreated and they're disgruntled, and that we are a better way. And heck, I think a good spokesperson for our guild would be Wishes, even if it's behind the scene. So I guess that takes us to how we're going to be going about the thing. So if you want to role play with Alex, I'm going to look at our quests that we have left.
Yep. Well, like I said, at this point, it's mostly just you're going to start collecting information or getting the information out there. The big thing is going to be you need to get kind of your basic charter set up so that you know how you're going to answer people's questions when they come in, so that you can make sure you're answering everything consistently and you know who's going to be qualified for what and things like that. And there may always be people who come up with random stuff that they try and throw you off just because they're there to prevent this from happening. You never know.
Arrow in the eye.
An arrow in the eye.
It's an arrow in the knee. I was an adventurer, then I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly going to be the way to handle most of these people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we won't understand who's not taking bribes, and we might have to grease a little fingers there, but I mean is make sure that none of our group is taking a bribe. Say like, oh, this fire sword swallower give us one silver piece, so we're going to let them operate here. And this one didn't pay us anything, so we're going to make them move to outside the city type thing.
Yeah. Well,
Making sure that it's fair in our regards as far as that goes. So we'll set part of our setting our bylaws and stuff up. So, but
makes
until
sense.
something gets resolved, I think we're sort of get a standstill. Other than talking to Wishes to see who he thinks we need to talk to, and or she, whichever it was, is to might be more disgruntled, to making sure we maybe get some tips in their direction if we need to, and try to get them to join our union against the person that's mistreating them.
Okay.
And of course, putting out a little information, some rumors / heresy, even if it's there's some misinformation. Well, actually, we don't want misinformation. We want true information, but we want the rumor mill to carry it. Who knows where it's going to go? Time it gets told to 10 different people about how these performers are being mistreated by so and so. That basically going with that route, basically running that person's reputation as a hire of entertainers. So basically, no one really wants to work for them because they don't have a good enough reputation that anyone would be willing to work for them. But as much as possible, making sure that those rumors that we're saying are true, or has at least a somewhat of the truth involved.
Okay.
You know, a little hint here, a little conversation at a, where we know someone that might be a gossiper would be over here. So we're at, sitting down, drinking a cup of wine, eating our an afternoon meal at some local establishment right there where they can sort of overhear us, even though we're having a conversation. Torrance talking to Blar or Faye. Or
It is.
Sort of overhear
It would be quite easy to do that, especially in like the Yawning Portal or places like that where a lot of people come and go. If Allie would, or if Blar would like to go discuss it with some of your higher society contacts, some of them might be willing to start boycotting a particular location because they're not treating their employees well. Things like that would be not unheard of.
Yeah, and I think we want to do a soft boycott versus a hard boycott type thing. If that makes sense to you. Sort of, one of those things where I go, I'm not really interested versus go away.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make sworn enemies that are willing to hire an assassin to kill us type thing. But we're still trying to get our point across.
Oh, I know. I totally get that. So, Blar, who do you want to try and get some of the more noble folks involved in this, or do you want to just kind of let them do their thing?
Yes, again.
All right. So you go talk to Rainier Neverember. Give me a persuasion check, please.
Yeah.
All right. So you explain to him the plight of these poor workers who are basically stuck, simply wanting to, ply their trade and do well in it, and due to the death of the owner of the establishment, they're now forced to work for this horrid woman who inherited it and cares little for them. And does the elites of the city want to get their entertainment off of the broken backs of the citizens, or would they rather try and find a better way to help these poor people out? You really turn on the charm. And Rainier kind of lets you know that he will definitely be mentioning this to some of his friends, as that does not seem to be the best way to do things, and he would prefer not to be involved in such shady and abusive tactics as it seems are being used at the Pink Flumph. So you are easily able to get the nobles kind of on your guys' side for this, able to kind of talk them into making this a citywide effort to gain some recognition towards the plight of those who provide them with their entertainment. So, any other groups of people you want to go schmooze up?
I think we should contact our Harper's agents, which has a lot of the bards and things like that, to not provide services possibly to them until they're doing the right thing.
All right. Blar, give me a persuasion roll. All right. Not the best, but with a little convincing, they realize that some of them, that is a large portion of their information network that they use to keep tabs on what's going on around the city, is people who work in these theaters and stuff like that. And if they're being mistreated, it'll be quite difficult for them to, stay at their jobs and provide the information that some of these Harpers have come to rely on in order to help protect the city. So, while they're not, quite as up in arms about it as the nobles are, they do let their contacts know that the folks who are planning this guild. What was that?
I said your voice cut off, so I was like,
Uh-oh.
internet dropping again.
So you convince them basically to tell their contacts and that hey, you guys should trust these people. They are trustworthy. Joining that guild won't hurt you in the long run. Most likely, it's going to help you come up with better things for you and your families. So, yeah, you'll get a lot of names from offering a free ale. Whether they're entertainers or not.
Well, yes, find out who our entertainers are. But obviously, so what I'm saying is, if, let's say they're a bard or a singer or a minstrel, maybe they're not a full, D&D bard, but maybe someone that tells stories and stuff, that they're wanting to work for things. But even if they're not telling the story and we're not paying them at our tavern, they'll still offer them a free ale to get on their good side.
Oh, yeah.
Basically. So, no, not just all the riff-raff in there. So, basically, when I was a bouncer in Washington, D.C., we had a list, we had a card that said we were a bouncer. I could go to any club in the D.C. area, and I did not have to pay a cover charge. And we had a special arrangement with, the bartenders, that basically you just give the bartenders a tip. We didn't have to wait in line. We didn't have to do anything else. It was sort of like I guess it was like an unofficial guild type fee. So
Yeah.
basically I'm giving them a free ale because they are an entertainer.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have to be necessarily a guild member working at the establishment, but if they're at least supporting the guild, hey, let's give you a free ale. Hey, you're an entertainer. Maybe you consider joining our guild.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. And, word of mouth will spread stuff like that quite nicely.
Yes, and then what happens is then we have a whole list of entertainers, and then we can approach the really good ones. Oh yeah, well here you're pretty good. Maybe you should consider playing at this now, type thing. But that's down the road. So I'm just putting those things.
So did you figure out what quest you wanted to go try and resolve while you're getting your guild stuff all set up?
We only have 2 left. We have the Emerald Enclave Doppelgangers and the Force Grey Balloon War Dragon, and the Happy Go Loker has been hanging around the Yawning Portal. So, obviously we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Part of the Yawning Portal is going to be how we're providing a little bit of word.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually looking to see who's performing at the Yawning Portal, who's singing, who's doing things, get the rumors, get the flow of the city.
So, if you're going by the Yawning Portal, one of the times that you're there, Bonnie will tell you that, they've gotten some of her folks together of the doppelgangers to meet with you about the joining the Harpers.
Yeah, and then of course using empathy on that too is like, ask about those that decided to move out of town. Are they doing okay? Have you heard anything from them? Showing empathy for that. I know I'm not the most charismatic, but I do care about her people that decided not to. But I really care about the people who decided to join us.
Yeah. So she'll let you know that their communication has been rather rough, as many of them assumed new identities once they left town. So it's hard for them to just send a letter to so-and-so
without
without knowing.
Okay, because they left town. That hit part of their goal, so.
Yeah. But
I understand.
Overall, it seems like things are going relatively well for them, and she's appreciative of you asking. There was a couple of them that did decide to stay in town and be more open about themselves and activities and so forth, and the hope that they might one day be allowed to join the Harpers.
All right. I'm, I don't know, it's persuasion or whatever. So basically, I'm actually trying to befriend her, so I don't know if that's actually a role or whatever over time, but I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
Because I would actually, I'm trying to recruit her for the Harpers. I'm also trying to recruit some of the doppelganger as a friend, because I really want to know what the inner workings of the city and stuff, even outside our agencies and stuff. So I'll go ahead. Is that a persuasion or?
It's just something that if you give it enough time, it'll develop, and you're taking the first steps towards that at the moment.
Yeah, and so being friends and asking what she needs and see if there's anything that we can do for her and type thing. If she doesn't need anything right now, well, just let her know that we are available if something comes up that we can possibly help. So those type of things. Just being a friend.
Yep. So.
All right. So we need to take. I'm going to ask her a little bit about in a quiet area as best we can. Is anything she's observed about Maloon, War Dragon? Because basically, he hasn't been operating as nothing. So, is there anything that she's noticed that's different?
She says, he seems to be a lot more tired lately. Not like he hasn't slept well, but like something is weighing heavily on him. And also just kind of generally distant and spaced out a lot.
And which way? Spaced out, like?
Just like not paying attention to what's around him. It seems.
All right. So what I want to do, maybe Faye can do this because she's sort of sneaky, I think. Um, or Blar. I don't know if I'm necessarily the best one because if obviously I might be if I started observing this guy, he might it might be, oh, why does that gnome keep looking at me? All right, so basically, see if either of them can find out any information about overhear any conversations without being observed. See if they're willing to. Maybe they got an idea of how to see what's going on with this guy that's not normal because see what's distracting him. So, but what I will do is I'll go try to find the information about where his room is or where he's at or what he does. That see if investigate to see if there's anything that's out of the ordinary without being observed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll in. Basically, I'm doing an investigation, but I don't know how you apply that. So
Yeah, investigation
You want a
works.
perception for me?
All right. Yeah, go ahead and give me a
I rolled
perception
1.
check. All right. Faye Winter, give me a medicine check, please. Well, somebody's got it tonight.
nice.
Yeah.
Not me. I rolled the 1 to get it out of the way.
Yep. All right. So, Faye Winter, you're sitting there sipping an ale, watching him move about the tavern. And you realize that, like, every so often he just kind of spaces out. But as you look closer, you realize a couple of things. First off, it's almost like he's talking to someone when he's spaced out, even though there's nobody there. You're not close enough to hear what he's saying, but you can definitely see him, like, his mouth moving. He's trying to say something. 2, when he's not spaced out, you realize it seems like it's very much a case of the lights are on but nobody's home with the way his facial expression is.
No.
Even though he tends to be going and doing most of the stuff normally, like, just his facial expression doesn't quite match what you would expect from someone like this. As
Yeah,
they
so
do
he might be charmed or.
Yeah, he also carries around a rather ornate axe at all times.
Well, so. Okay.
Um,
Well, I'll pass that along to the party when we're back
Torin,
together.
you start trying to investigate, and it seems like every time you try and slip away to go talk to somebody about him, he just seems to end up walking straight into you, literally. So instead of being like, oh yeah, I'm going to avoid him so he's not wondering why the gnome is staring
I
at
get
me,
to ask no questions.
it's basically, why do I keep tripping over this same gnome?
Well, if it was my other character, I could say because I'm tasked underfoot, but
Because I'm always underfoot.
I'm always underfoot. But it's Torben Greylance. This is appropriate for him. So, but yeah.
But yeah, so you really don't get to ask too many questions of that. But Faye Winter, you do figure out that he does seem to space out and seems to be talking to someone. He's wearing he's wearing an ornate axe, probably magical, from how ornate it looks. And his facial expressions seem odd compared to what he's doing at any given time. Now,
Faye said she told us this information. I I was actually thinking, personally, I was thinking that he is controlled by a mind flayer or a intellect devourer or something's controlling him. But based upon the fact that she's telling me all this about the axe and everything else, can I make an Arcana check to see if I think that it would be possible that he be influenced by a magical item?
Sure, go for it.
Not so good today.
You do know of
Right. Not
sentient magic items that sometimes do influence their wielders, especially if for some reason they do not feel like the wielder is taking actions that the item would find a good idea or useful or not distasteful.
So, alright, let me go ahead and get rid of this one. Got rid of the bad mind flayers. So that's actually only fourth grade. So, I'm gonna sit. We're gonna get together at our own inn, and I'm gonna discuss my feelings about what might be happening. And so, I thought it might be some kind of mind influencing where he's charmed / whatever, or even controlled by a magic item. It's possible. I know of magic items, but I couldn't determine whether the magic item is actually influencing him or not, or whether it's some other outsource. But there's something that's obviously infecting his well-being and everything else. I don't know if anyone else can figure out what's going on. So between Keith, Faye, and Blar going up there, so I think something is affecting him. I don't think he's acting in his normal mind, or maybe he is part-time, but then
Faye, make me a wisdom check, please.
switching back and forth between whatever, where he's listening to other things. Who? Faye?
Faye, make a wisdom check. All right.
Oh, that's a save. But
It's the same thing. It's going to be
well,
the save versus everything else going to be the same, I think.
as a
want me to
ranger,
do it the other
she's
side.
strength. Nope, you're fine. It's the same either way. Your saves are strength and dex. So Faye, you also realize that, but you realize it almost seems like there's two factors at play at the moment. There's whatever's making him kind of like glassy-eyed and nobody's home expression, and then there's something else that he is like, something is having conversations with him.
So I asked Faye, do you think it's more natural type things to make things, or maybe he's got a magic item that's a thing, or a magic entity that's talking to him? Maybe he's got a patron. Maybe he's a warlock. I don't know. So I can keep my eyes open to figure out what's going on.
So I don't have anything yet that can what is the umbral sight?
That just gives you dark vision.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't have anything that can like detect invisibility yet, or
Nope. There are spells that do that, but you probably haven't taken any of those.
I don't have those. Yeah.
And that would
Yeah,
that would only be if there was something to physically see. If it's all inside of his head, detect invisible is not going to do that, anything.
Or be
Well, I mean, that would be
hit
when,
sight, like another person sitting next to him in the booth,
Yeah.
or even that magic item, or that big axe he has. Maybe we need to ask him about where you achieved that, where you received that thing. What do you think? Blar, what do you think? Think he can friend zone this guy and see where he acquired that axe and everything else that he's being really fond to, that he's sort of caressing and saying, "My precious."
Torn, make me an insight check about that.
Insight. Come on, big roll. No, I didn't. I don't have any insight on that today.
Yeah, nope. No insight today.
I'm just going from knowledge of from past things and things I've encountered and everything else. So that's why I'm asking Blar to maybe you can see, get close to him and see what's happened or anything that's happened and when he acquired any magical items, or if he's encountered anybody that's any new friends that are really close, like yeah, you just bonded with these people. It's like you don't know why, but man, they're like your best friend, and you've only known them for a short while, type thing. See if you can find some information about that. I think that might solve our dilemma with what's going on with this guy. And you don't have to say role play what you're saying. Just role play or actually just
tell me what you want to do overall.
Yeah, how your approach would be, and you don't have to say the words portion of it.
So are you going to go talk to him or not? Or did we lose you, Blar? Blar?
I can hear you. I'm trying to think.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if we'd lost you or something.
Could be the first time tonight.
Yep. So, I just need to know generally what you want to do. You want to go talk to this guy and find out more information, or be like, meh, seems like mental possession. Go tell the Force Grey that that's what the problem is, and off we go. The choice is yours, Blar.
And while she's thinking of that, are we making a few coppers that are in and stuff now, so that we can have basically hire Keith as our sort of like our head of security / head bouncer?
Let's see how you guys did in the last 10 day. You lost 60 gold.
So we're not in a position to hire. You lost 60 gold?
Yep, between paying for wages and supplies and everything like that.
Ouch. We won't be able to make much doing that. I was hoping we'd make a few copper to pay Keith a couple copper, at least to start his enforcer activities. And I've been marketing too, so. Alright, so basically earlier I said trying to do get with our patrons and see what they like, what they don't like. What am I getting feedback? How do I need to make improvements? You don't have to roleplay that, but
Most of it just seems like it's the fact that it's fairly new still. People have their, this is our place and we like it here, so this is where we usually go. So it seems like a lot of your patrons that aren't regulars at this point are people who are showing up because their regular place might be closed due to one thing or another.
Right.
A few of them do mention some unsavory rumors that have been started by a certain Emmerich Frew about you guys, but...
Right, well, I'll start doing some research on who this damn Emmerich Frew guy is.
You recognize the name as someone who tried to open a tavern down the road from you guys, and you kept screwing with him to the point where he couldn't open his doors.
I don't remember screwing with anybody.
Yeah, you wanted to go down there and cast like arcane lock or something on his doors every day.
I did? I never remember that.
Nobody almost has that ability.
I thought you had something that lets you basically lock him out of his building kind of instantly.
Now, if I was going to do something like that, I would remember that.
No, you did mention that you were going to do that. I'm pretty sure it was you. Maybe it was one of the other guys that was here and then left.
I don't have arcane lock.
Oh my god.
Well,
Now we did have our cleric that was here for a while, so
Yeah.
that could have been him. But
yeah.
he's
I know
actually left the city.
I know somebody was messing with him quite a bit at one point, so you know he's been run out of business, but it's kind of difficult to get very far.
All right. Well, I need to start getting our good people that we treating really well and everything else, and have them start giving us 5-star reviews in the what you call it?
The
what?
wazoo.
The wazoo, about how we are actually friendly and everything else, and willing to. Because I really want to have a really good bar. I want to have our bar really known for taking care of the customers and everything else. I'm not looking for 1 million people, but I want 100 people that are really taken care of and really appreciate what we do for them.
Is our ghost, is he able to leave, or he has to stay within the establishment?
Generally, he stays within the establishment. He would need something that, in his mind, would be considered part of the location to go somewhere to. And he can't really carry it himself at that point. He would have to have somebody take him along with them.
Could it be something as little as a mug, or?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be, anything enormous, just something that he would consider the area around it as his space.
Because I was just thinking of sometimes ghosts and stuff are able to detect otherworldly stuff.
Yeah.
And that maybe they could get a, or he could get a imprint from the axe or a impression of what may be influencing.
If he were possessed, it might work because they can see into the ethereal plane a little easier, but if it's not possession, it really wouldn't do much.
He wouldn't be able to tell.
He wouldn't be able
Well,
to
here-
tell you what it was. He'd just be able to tell you it's not like he's being possessed by a ghost or something.
All right, to improve our establishment, what I want to find out is if I can find like a mug or something that I can actually take our ghost bartender. Let's say I'm able to do like a 1 day a week where we go to the yawning portal. And I take this mug and I take it with me, and then we can have a guest bartender at the yawning portal so that he can serve and everything else, and people sort of bond with him and everything else at the yawning portal, and work that out with the proprietor of the yawning portal so that 1 day a week that at one of his bars, I don't know if they have one bar, they have 5 bars, but maybe one of the side bars, that we have our ghost bartender serving their ale, right, and everything else. And if they do that sort of little announcement and work with a win-win situation with the yawning portal, maybe on that day we do a ghost hour where they, drinks are at a reduced price, but maybe they can sell so many of them that they make it a tremendous profit. And then, of course, once they're a little drunk, they spend a little more, type thing. So that's something I want to research that you can sort of figure out as we go past the week. So
Yep.
Trying to do that. So I don't want to be losing money at our tavern. I want to actually, even if we break even, because it is a homestead, but I do want to, I'm not trying to be rich, but at the same time I'm not losing. I want to be able to pay our bouncer Keith what he's worth.
Okay. Yeah. That is definitely something you guys can do.
Oh no, that's something I am going to do like on the off days when we're not role playing stuff. So if we're not doing something like it, all right, we're doing this on such and such day. Okay, got a couple off days. Well then, doing the standard. Okay, I'm doing this with the guilds, and I'm doing this. I'm getting my meat that I need to do, and all the other stuff. But at the same time, that's some things I'm spending my extra time doing.
All right.
Non-role-playing activity, but okay. So is there anything else we need to do to get back to the main quest of getting into where we're at as far as, or what do we need to do to start?
Well, so I need to know what Blair's doing with Maloon.
Okay.
I was trying to give her time to think.
I know.
I distracted on the conversation.
I mean,
Well, she wasn't. Hopefully, she wasn't paying attention to what I was actually doing, and she was spending on what her task was.
So, Blar, I just need you to say, do you want to investigate Maloon further, or do you want to just report back to Force Grey and say this is what the problem was? There's no wrong answer.
If we can figure out what's causing his dilemma, then we can actually help him,
Yep, you could.
or maybe help him. You don't have to go about what you're gonna say. Just say what you think you would want to do. Like, I want to help him by getting close to him. I'd like to find out more information about him and how you do that versus trying to actually do the. Well, this is what I say. As you bat your silver draconic eyes at him to make him your friend.
That's the part she's worried about.
No, but that would be your part to roleplay to tell her how she goes about accomplishing the task. I tried to persuade him by doing this, or by you know what I mean.
Well, the good news is, Blar, you are a small creature, which means you can move around with less notice than most people would be able to.
Right.
So if you wanted to try and like follow him around and help him, you could. If you wanted to just follow him and collect more information about what's going on.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
Okay. So, give me a stealth check, please. Excellent. So he is unaware of your presence as you flutter around just above and behind him, overhearing things. You are able to confirm that at times he does seem to be arguing with something he calls Azure Edge. Based on the name, you're guessing it's probably the axe.
Yeah.
But it also seems to be times where, like I said before, he is doing stuff, but he's saying stuff that should be excited about something, but his facial expression isn't super excited. And then there's times where it's like, from what you know of Maloon, he's getting excited about things that Maloon really doesn't enjoy a whole lot. So there's something going on there that Maloon isn't acting like Maloon. And you can tell the rest of the party that and decide what you want to do with it.
Yeah, that axe might be cursed. Or something.
All right. Are you sharing that?
I'm going to say yes, she's sharing the information with you.
All right. So what I want to use is an Arcana check to see if I think that maybe this axe is actually controlling his behavior to report that. So.
Okay. All right.
25.
So, with the name Azure Edge, you do know that is a sentient axe that is sworn to protect the city of Waterdeep. You also know that while sentient objects can occasionally take control of their wielders if they find the wielder's action entirely too unpleasant, it seems more like, from the conversation that Blar is reporting, the axe wants Maloon to give him up to someone else. Let someone else take over holding the axe for a time, things like that.
So basically, he's not worthy.
It's more like he's just not participating in stuff, and you feel like whoever Azure Edge is very much known to be a lawful good weapon. So it could be that something is affecting Maloon in such a way that Azure Edge does no longer find him worthy. The other thing that you figure out, though, is most sentient weapons have telepathy. They can talk to anybody around them. So there's really no reason why the weapon would need to take control of Maloon to say things. And you're pretty sure if the weapon were forcing Maloon to move around and do certain things, there would be like more signs of struggle on Maloon's face.
All right. I think that what we should do is get close enough to communicate with the oh, that's crazy. The voice is coming in about like 5 seconds later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's echoing?
Yeah, the hunger.
All right, so I think we should get to the point where we get close enough to communicate with the axe itself, knowing that, and see if we can actually help Maloon, or if there's anything else influencing Maloon besides the axe that maybe we take things of, and basically reinforce the axe that we are citizens of Waterdeep and we want what's best for Waterdeep, and that we will try to make
Okay.
basically befriend the axe.
Does anyone
So
in
I'm
your
telling-
group have telepathy?
Don't think so.
Hold on. If I don't have it, it's because I don't have it yet.
It'll go on the list of things for Torin to figure out later.
I'm sorry, but part of my min-maxing in D&D 5th edition is I usually take telepathy, especially if I am a charismatic character.
Oh yeah. Well, it's always helpful to have at least one person that can talk in people's heads without having to say anything aloud. But
No, I don't have
I don't
telepathy.
think any of you guys have that. So you have no way to
What
contact
about wishes?
wishes? Like you're gonna wish you were
Did
telepathic?
we get a ring of 3 wishes that I don't know about in the party?
No, isn't that the
Oh,
The
the
wishes. Oh, yeah. Our
the fairy dragon
our,
friend.
fairy dragon friend. Awesome.
Yep.
I wouldn't even have thought about that, but Faye, that is an awesome suggestion. Maybe we can get wishes to talk to it. We have to give him a treat, maybe some chocolate-covered pecans or something. So
Peckins.
we'll figure out something to
make some turtle candies?
yeah. So I would say, yeah, our 4 members that we don't have, but our new member that we don't control, that we suggest that actually Wishes does have telepathy.
He does.
So awesome! I like that, Faye. All right. That's
Unfortunately,
awesome.
he's busy.
Let's get with
He's
Wishes
busy
and
working
Faye.
right now.
What's that?
He's busy working right now.
Well, I understand, but that could be something down the road that we say, hey, we need some help with this, and give me some covered truffles or covered pecans or something to appease him, because we have befriended him as
Yep.
a member of our party.
Oh no,
To
you
see if he would be willing to help us with
and
a,
if you guys
a really good axe that wants to protect Waterdeep. Now, if it's an evil axe, I wouldn't ask him to do it, but since
Yeah.
it's a good axe,
well, you guys
See if he can-
you got the feeling that if you help him get the Pink Flumph out from under the evil witch's control, he would be quite happy to help you.
well, that's a win-win situation, because we were trying to do that, but we were trying to resolve that. If there's anything else that I have overlooked that we could possibly do to do that, other than the guild, and I'm not someone that wants to spread
What
bad
about
rumors.
The ghost?
Well,
Do
remember
ghosts have telepathy?
he does not. He can't speak. Remember, he communicated by writing stuff in the dust until you guys got him a chalk and slate to write on.
Okay.
He's already started unsettling this woman, so, he mentioned to you that if you came up with some kind of plan to convince her that her deceased husband was unhappy with the way she was doing things, it might be enough to convince her to just abandon the whole thing and turn it over to the employees. Or
Goes for that.
no, the Pink Flumph.
I mean, you could get the ghost and pretend he's her husband.
Yeah.
Or we can pretend to be a ghost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check to see what I have. Wasn't there a spell sheet on this?
It's going to be under your actions tab.
Yeah, I personally have nothing that will allow me to pretend that I'm a ghost. Or that her former husband.
No, I mean, you've got minor
Other than-
illusion, and you know,
Well, I have minor illusion, and I can write some notes.
acting and dressing up as this guy. You know, you could pull the whole Ebenezer Scrooge routine on her.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm trying to do it, being the fact that I'm only 3 foot tall or whatever size I am. So minor illusion, having the illusion. And so how I would do that, if I was going to do that, is I'd leave a note. I would try to find something written in his handwriting, see if we can find that, see if our pseudo dragon friend, or not pseudo dragon, but our fairy dragon friend, maybe has something where we can see his handwriting so that we can duplicate it, or through illusion, for minor illusion, of some writing of that, so I can like minor illusion it and then write over the top of it in real script, and then sort of have that illusion of something where she sort of glimpses her husband, but he disappears immediately, where he's not happy with whatever, and then she finds the notes written around. I think that might be a way to do it.
Okay.
Anybody else have any ideas how to haunt this person to the point where she thinks her ex wants her to do something different?
Or is there any type of creature that
Is there a?
she doesn't like,
I will actually ask our.
has a phobia?
Wishes was not aware of anything that he could tell you that was like a phobia or anything like that.
But are there any pictures of him? Any portraits of him?
Oh yeah, there's stuff that you could use to create an illusion of him. Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I would want to do, sort of like, and then my illusion would be like a arms crossed, sort of a frown, like of disappointment when she does something, as far as that stuff, and see if I can start timing some of these things so that when she's taking action, or we find from wishes that she's going to take action about something, that basically he crosses his arms and has a frown of disapproval over her actions, type thing, and then he just, as soon as he sees the arms crossed, the frown disappear, a slight head shake, and then just disappear.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at, possibly, unless somebody else comes up with some different suggestions.
Okay. That's a solid way to disturb somebody.
Yeah.
Keith, got any ideas?
I'm fine to go along with that.
Keith Smash.
Whichever way I can swing my sword the most.
I don't think tonight's going to be a big sword swinging.
No, you guys aren't going to get too much sword swinging.
No.
It happens.
But then some days it'll be all sword swinging and no role playing. So, Blar? Alright, so I will ask Wishes then about when she's like lecturing, or when's the time that she goes off, like pre-performance of a thing. The times where she's like really lecturing and belittling her employees. Because there's going to be a common time that she does that, like right before a play, right after the play, like where she's belittling them for their lack of performance. And so I want to find out from Wishes when that best time is, and then that's what I'll do. I'll use my minor illusion and just do what I just said, at the appropriate time. So I'm trying to hide myself or whatever, pre-stage, so I don't have to worry about any armor. If I got to take my armor off, I'll take my armor off, so I don't have any disadvantage. So I'm sort of hidden and everything else, but I'm observing.
All right, so I'm actually thinking the thing that would probably be the best way of doing this would be something like your magical tinkering. And you could basically give some items to wishes to place in an area that basically are set up that are triggered when she raises her voice. And it'll cause, you can have a few of them that cause like an image to appear, some ghostly sounds, and some light or something like that. Just kind of do some stage magic tricks, basically, so that even if you guys aren't sitting there, stuff still happens.
Yeah, and it sort of sets her up, gets her a little paranoid. And then,
yep. And because you have an intelligence modifier of 4, you can have up to 4 of these effects going at the same time.
All right, so I think, like, for instance, every time she raises her voice, like let's see, magic tinkering, what does it do? I gotta look and see what the abilities do. If I can find it.
It's on your abilities tab. So basically, I'm looking at what several of the things are, and basically, it allows you to make a static visual effect, but you could have, I'm going to say you could have several of them set up that they like flash on and off in sequence. So it gives it the appearance of him just like shaking his head briefly, a faint disturbing sound, and possibly just her hearing some whispers or something like that for a couple of seconds.
So using the static visual effect and the recorded message type thing.
Yeah.
But sort of like a voice where she can barely hear it, like, oh, I'm so bad.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Yeah, basically disappointed in, but like, oh, I'm so sad or whatever type thing.
Why would you
whenever
do this?
She's raising her voice, or whenever she's specifically with triggers, where she's basically, I'm shaming her, but at the same time, I'm disappointed in what she has become between the static visual and the static recording thing, and basically a visual or a static, almost like crying type thing. Whenever she's belittling any characters and stuff like that, and figure out that with also coordinate them with with our fairy dragon to figure out when that would be best to try to get her to eliminate, and then we'll have Blar sort of suggest that maybe the best thing is to retire. Move on to better things and everything else. Maybe reflect on your life and realize that, not that you're not cut out for this, that you were cut out for it, but things will be better if you move on.
Okay. So you guys, it'll take you a little bit of time to get that all set up. But you can definitely do that and meet up with Wishes, pass that over. It's probably going to take, you're going to want to leave these tinkerings in place for probably a few days to a week, just to let her kind of build up that, oh gosh, if I say something, this is bugging me, but if I say something, he's going to show up and shame me again. So getting that anticipation built to the point where it's like, what can I do? Who can I talk to without...
Yeah, and why hasn't he gone on to the afterlife, you know? Why hasn't Kellenbor judged him yet?
And why is he just now showing up after a couple of years? What's changed that he's unhappy? That kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to take a few days to do that. So, you can get that set up for next time. You're basically, Blar, the result of your investigation, you get the feeling that something is controlling Maloon. It's not the axe. The axe wants to be free of Maloon or whatever's controlling him. So, what you want to do with that is up to you guys. Whether you wanted... All you were told is you just needed to figure out what was going on, so you've technically fulfilled the minimum objectives, but if you want to try and help him, that is up to you. So, I don't know if you guys want to do that, or if you want to go take that information back to Blackstaff. That's your call.
Now, is this before or after? Because we were originally trying to get, we were trying to win Wishes over to our side, so Wishes could telepathically contact the axe to see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I was just making sure that you want to wait that whole week to let this work in order to kind of get Wishes on your side, or if you want to go ahead and report to the Blackstaff, let them know, and then go from there.
I think we need to do a progress report to the Blackstaff saying this is what we're thinking and this is what our plan is currently.
Okay.
And basically, then the Blackstaff can say, go ahead with that plan. Or the Blackstaff can say, well, no, we need to do something to resolve this situation immediately. So I think that's the route we should go. That's what I suggest. Do a progress report.
Okay. So when you get there, the Blackstaff will tell you that there is some additional information that will probably clear it up. They have heard that something is creating intellect devourers here in Waterdeep and sending them to take over people in various positions. From what you describe, it seems like Maloon is one of their victims.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, is there any way to save someone that's been infected by an intellect devourer, or are they beyond saving?
Well, it's kind of interesting. Intellect devourers usually don't leave their host unless the host is dying, but they can only really occupy a host if the host's body has no mind of its own. So basically, for an intellect devourer to take over, the host's intelligence has to be reduced to 0, placing them in a coma, which then the intellect devourer takes over their body and begins running around.
So if we were to find the means through a scroll or whatever else to do a full restoration type thing to heal the person, would that expel the intellect devourer and then they could be slain, or is that something that's beyond
Increase his intellect?
Yeah, so if you somehow did that, or somehow found an item that forcibly raised their intelligence,
or what about a protection from or not protection, but it's actually protection from good evil that does not allow possession of a creature.
It is technically possessed. The other option would be, get him out somewhere a little bit more isolated and kill him and then resurrect him. So using something like Revivify.
All right. Well, that would be something that's beyond our abilities to do. So that would require additional guidance from obviously the Black Staff, and to do that, because at our levels and what we're capable of doing, there is no resurrection going to be happening. I'm not saying we couldn't do a killing, but there's no one here who's going to be able to resurrect him and do anything else. We might be able to revivify him, maybe. I doubt that either for what we have, unless there all of a sudden I might be able to cast a scroll of revivify or use a charm or something of that appropriate thing that allows me to cast that spell.
she will provide a scroll of revivify if that is the option you guys choose to take.
And so I'll ask her opinion on it.
Well, death is a traumatic experience, so that is not the preferred method, but if that is the only method open to you, otherwise we can try raising his intelligence or something similar by giving him some kind of restoration so that the creature can no longer inhabit his body.
Now, this character doesn't know, but would something like a banishment spell work? Or is that only for extraplanar?
So you can banish something from this plane that belongs on this plane. It goes just to a little pocket demi-plane.
So here's my thought process. I don't know how it works. If I banish
but you have to be able to see the creature, and the intellect devourer, while it has control of somebody, has total concealment from everybody. So you can't see the intellect devourer. All you can see is him, which would mean you would just banish him to a pocket dimension, and the intellect devourer would ride along.
Okay, so. Yeah, I was thinking about possibly banishing him, banishing the intellect devourer, and then of course, then he would be there, then cast protection from good and evil, which means he can't be possessed. The intellect devourer reappears, and then, it can't possess him anymore.
Yeah.
That was my thought process, but...
Yeah, protection from evil and good will help before, but it won't really help after he's already been possessed.
I prefer to go the route of raising the intellect with have the killing resurrection as a plan B.
Plan B, C, D, E, F.
Okay. Blar, what do you think? I know
Yeah,
Keith wants to whack him, so...
Yeah, probably a restoration.
Well, I don't know if restoration, there's other higher level spells, but I don't know if my character would know that stuff, so. I'm sure a heal spell would work, or a limited wish or a wish would work, but my character might not know you know about those spells.
Oh, you know about them, you just don't know how they would do.
Or who would be able to cast them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the ability of Blackstaff would be willing to do at this point if we were to actually capture him and incapacitate him. If that's something that would be a possibility for even she might be able to be at that level of caster to.
She could definitely do that. So
that might be a thing. So to pull out the incapacitation without actually killing them. Maybe do combat with non-lethal combat to basically
you would need
knock them
a greater restoration. Is what you would need a greater restoration, which would cost you 100 gold plus the cost of the scroll. So that would be. I'm trying to remember how much 5th level spells are. And I want to say it's almost 500 gold. So it'd be about 600 gold just to get a restoration, just like cast it on him for a scroll.
I don't think we have that much, do we?
Overall in the party, you guys have about 900. So you could do that, or you could knock him unconscious, drag him back to the Blackstaff like you were saying, and be like, fix him, it's your problem.
All right, I think we should. I personally think let's knock him out. First of all, I think we maybe should get some poisons to possibly knock him out. Some drow poison / maybe something a little bit better to assist us. Knock him unconscious, bring him back, let them deal with it, separate him from his axe temporarily until he gets restored, and be ready to kill the intellect devourer when the intellect devourer, obviously unconscious, separates from him. That's what I think we should do, but I'll let everybody else think of that. I'm gonna take a quick go take a quick pee while you guys are discussing it.
I'm okay with doing that route instead.
Alright. So it sounds like you guys are going to try and just cold conk him, huh?
Or give him a sleeping draught.
You're going to go try and find some poison to give him to knock him out, huh?
Yes, whatever would do less damage.
Yeah. Well, drow poison is one that can knock somebody out. I want to say whatever poison sprites use. So if somebody wanted to summon a sprite to shoot him and try and knock him out. But most of the rest of the poisons, I think, do direct damage.
Yeah, there's a few of them. Drow poison is one of them. There's a couple of them topors that do a couple. Drow poison is not actually the best one.
Just a
Blar, do you have sleep?
No.
So yeah, drow poison is going to run you
How much
about
would
200 gold. Just a basic poison will be 100 gold, but it's probably not going to have a great save DC that he's going to have to overcome.
how about a scroll of sleeping?
Well, remember, sleep, you roll d8s, and it goes up to his hit points. This guy is a veteran of Force Grey, so you've got a feeling that he's got some health on him.
Well, the other thing we can do is we can bite him till he's bloodied, then hit him with sleep.
You could try that too.
So, Keith, you have any idea?
Keith, smash.
So, what was Melrune wearing?
Maloon appears to generally wear plate mail.
so I could basically heat him up and cook him until he falls unconscious. All right, and as he goes unconscious, then I can stop concentrating on heat metal, and then we can sort of inject him with a poison to keep him asleep, so he doesn't wake up, and then bring him back, bind him and bring him back.
If that's what you want to try.
I'm just throwing suggestions out to the rest of the party.
Or do a spell of exhaustion.
Is there a spell called exhaustion?
There's.
I have no idea. Or a curse.
There are spells that cause exhaustion. I don't know what anything. I don't have anything other than hitting him or doing a heat metal to do anything personal spells, or casting or shooting him with something that poisons him. That's the only options I personally have to take him down, to bring him back to Blackstaff to get restoration or resurrected. There's other things we can do, though. For instance, is there any way we can transport him into water?
Not easily.
No, I'm throwing this out to everybody else. Because a man wearing plate mail gets stuck in the lake, is going to basically drown. And as soon as they go unconscious, we could save them, keep them unconscious, all right, and then go from there to bring them back. So I'm just throwing ideas out there to everybody so they can figure out their own ways. That would be another way to incapacitate him. Now, obviously with my Krav Maga / Gracie Jitsu, I was like, a rear naked choke works really well. 7 to 12 seconds, he'd be unconscious. Keith, do you know any BJJ?
Do I know any what?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was gonna say, your character grapples the guy, puts him to a second, takes 2 rounds to put him unconscious, and then we go from there. But this is Dungeons & Dragons, so there's no BJJ in Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, you got it.
It'd only take 2 rounds to put him completely unconscious.
Well, whatever's most expedient, I guess.
Alright, so we need to get him out of the Yanni portal to somewhere separate if we're going to do that route. So how do we do that?
I mean, Blar can just try and convince him that there's something critical that he needs to come see out in the alley out back.
Yeah.
That's just a persuasion roll.
Yeah, it is a persuasion roll, so setting up and setting it up for that, so we can do that. So do we want to do a combination of the things? I say we go ahead and spend the gold, get some sleep poison, drow poison. We get him out back. I'll cast heat metal on him, and I'll shoot him with a drow arrow with my crossbow bolt. All right, you guys beat him with clubs to try to knock him out. Hopefully, we can do that, and then we can worry about that there. And then Keith and Faye can bind him and everything else, and separate him from his axe, and take him to whatever. Let Force Gray / the Black Staff know that's what we're planning on doing. Let's try not to kill him. If we accidentally do, then we say beware to raise him, but we're not trying to kill him. We're trying to do a restoration type thing versus that. So.
Convince the axe to help us, maybe.
What?
Maybe convince
Well,
the axe to help us.
But we had no way to communicate with the axe until we've actually befriended, unless you can convince your friend to convince the axe before we actually have fulfilled our agreement. Maybe we can show them that, hey, we've already taken these steps, we're going to do this. Maybe we can get some trade in kind, knowing that we hasn't accomplished it, but it'll eventually accomplish that we're actually being true to our word, but it takes time. But we need to accomplish this first. Maybe you can convince them to do that. And then maybe you can get the axe to maybe mentally attack him while we're trying to do that, so that the axe doesn't participate as much, fight him off, and who knows, maybe give us an advantage or something. I have no idea. That's metagaming, but have another ally in the axe.
Always worth the
How
shot.
did the intellect devourer attune to the axe?
Maybe he's not.
Maybe that's why they're having the fight. So we'll find out. So, what do you think? All right, so Blar, go find us some sleeping poison somehow. Get some shackles, Keith, so that we can shackle the person just in case, whatever. All right. I will make a special crossbow bolt to inject the poison in him. All right, or I'll actually make a couple so I can hit it with whatever, and then or Faye can actually do that, or an arrow, whichever. I think Faye's probably better to hit it with the arrow, so we'll give it an arrow to Faye versus my crossbow bolt. She's probably better at whacking them. And then I will heat the metal to resist that. Faye can shoot him with a poison arrow. Keith, you can bang him with a club and to not try to knock him unconscious, and whatever Blar can do with non-lethal attacks to stimulate that, and then we can go from there. So I think that should be our plan. So Blar, you're responsible for getting the guy out back in the alley, and seeing if you can find us some sleep poison for Faye to put a creature to sleep.
So when you tell the Black Staff about this, since it would be far cheaper to provide you the poison and then provide all the reagents in the scroll of Revivify, she will offer to cover the poison and actually gives you one that has a slightly higher DC than even the Drow poison for putting him unconscious. So it's a DC 15 poison dose that you've got for a sleep poison.
And hopefully RNG works in our favor.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
That's true. I'll be prepared for it to not to.
She does let you know that Maloon has been trained to deal with overwhelming situations, i.e. he has the fighter's indomitable feat, so he can re-roll saves. So she will make sure you have enough to fill at least 3 arrows with this poison to give to Feywinter.
Right, and so based on the indomitable feat, does that only work while he's conscious? Is it a action or a bonus action?
No, it's just he can re-roll a save that he fails and has to use the new roll twice a day. So he's probably going to use it to not fall asleep first, if he ends up asleep, then he's probably used it already. But it is not something that he has to be conscious and choose to use it. It's just, it's a thing that can automatically happen. So,
I mean, I can waste on with there's mischief.
you guys get yourselves prepped up. Blar, I need a persuasion check from you.
Okay. Persuasion, here we go.
Oh, she's very persuasive. He thinks he's going out back to get a little kiss from the fairy.
Yeah.
Right. So I will be hidden.
So
I'll put
the rest of you guys are hidden. So give me stealth checks.
Now, if we're stationary, do I still get disadvantage?
I'm going to say no, because if you guys are prepping this up, Faye Winter's probably going to use Pass Without Trace as well. So that'll give you guys a plus 10 anyway.
Yeah, so that make it a 26.
Does Faye Winter have Pass Without Trace?
I don't know. So she's more of a fighter than a ranger right now, I think.
Yeah, they do. She doesn't have that, but...
Alright, so 16.
Yeah. Alright, so 16, 14, 13. Yeah, you guys are good. He's not paying attention. Walks out there. Faye Winter, do you want to take the first shot?
Okay, and
So roll to hit with advantage.
Dread.
Well,
So we're doing shots to injure him, but not to actually kill him. So we're doing subdual combat as far as that goes.
No dread ambusher, huh?
Now you still get that.
so ranged attacks by default cannot be non-lethal. So you've got those 3 arrows that are for the sleeping poison. So it's up to you what you want to do with that, and when you want to use them. So, who's going to go ahead and jump this party to get it started?
I guess it would be me as the...
Okay. So go ahead and make an attack roll.
I do it with the dread. Oh, I roll first, right, and then hit it.
Yeah. You don't worry about damage, because these are specially designed arrows that they're not going to do a lot of damage. They're just there to inject the toxin. And think of like a tranquilizer dart, but in an arrow format. Okay, so that will hit him. Let's see how he does. He passes that save. So he just shrugs off the effects of the first shot. Keith,
Silver barbs it.
you want to silvery barbs it? Go right ahead.
Yep.
How can you silvery barbs an attack that?
It says.
It's any D20 roll.
Yeah, if it succeeds in an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw.
Oh, I didn't know that. I learned something new today. Thanks, Alex.
All right, so he will use one of his charges of Indomitable to re-roll that one. And barely makes the save.
All right, but that's good. It took that of a charge. That's good.
Yep. So, who are you giving advantage to, Blar?
Let's see. Does Torn have any of the poison stuff? Just
Nope,
All right,
just
so
Faye.
Before
Just
you
Faye
try to
Winter.
do that, know that the fact that I'm casting heat metal, which I don't think requires an attack roll. So my plan is to cast heat metal, which is I think it's just a saving throw, isn't it?
Yeah, heat metal, if you're casting it on somebody's armor, doesn't even get a save. The saving throw is to hold on to a weapon or something that has been heated.
All right, so I don't need your. So you know for the fact that I don't need that because my spell is going to hit it automatically because of the plate armor. So you know you want to give it to Keith. So
Okay, so
based
I'll give
upon
it to
our
Keith.
plan, or you give it to Faye for her next round. But
I'll give it to Keith.
All right, so Keith has advantage. Keith, what are you doing?
Do I need to select anything to make the attack non-lethal, or can I just roll as?
Nope, you just tell me that you're doing a non-lethal attack.
All right, I'll do a non-lethal attack.
Okay. You have advantage.
Oh no.
Good thing you've got
Right,
advantage.
yeah, because you need it.
Roll it a second time. See if it hits. Alright, so it comes crashing down onto his steel pauldrons, but you do not hit him. You have a second attack.
Okay.
Yes, you are a 5th level fighter. You have a second attack.
Or you don't get advantage this time.
Well, even so, it still crashes onto his armor without hitting him. Blar, are you doing anything?
Well, I'm gonna Misty step away from him, and then I'm gonna cast Nefarious Mischief where it's only on him.
Okay.
Or you could just step away unless he's within melee. I don't see why you
I
would
don't
be
know.
melee.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they
going
came out of the tavern together, so
Let's
it's
see.
entirely possible that she was right next to him.
Yep.
All
Do
right.
we need to roll initiative or anything?
No, I'm just gonna go through you guys and then him.
Okay.
So he needs to make that saving throw.
All right, wisdom save. He made it.
Okay.
All right, and last but not least, Torin.
Alright, I am casting heat metal on him.
Okay.
And then my bonus action will actually have Steely Dan to attack him with rendering, with basically butting with his horns. So let me get my actions. Heat metal. See, I need to. It says self. Or just click on the loom.
Just roll the damage. 15 points. All right, sounds good. Oh, you got it. Okay. So his turn. You
And
see.
then Steely Dan will also get a
Oh,
chance
yeah.
to go to.
Yeah.
As soon as I find him. We'll use Rend. I'm just trying to find it on the thing. Gotta double click it.
All
21
right,
hit.
that'll hit.
Alright, and damage is 1d8, d8 plus 2 force. Yeah, it doesn't have a button to click on. It just actually highlights the writing, so that's why it's taking me a while to find it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I set that all. Yeah, you've got a under your actions tab. There's a powers that says Steely Dan, and it has his attack and damage rolls.
Oh, it's actually one more than that now. Alright,
Yep.
plus 3. Take one more point of damage.
All right.
Yeah, I see that now. Okay.
So you see him like grab the axe and pull it back to chuck it at Blar in his anger over this whole thing. And as he pulls the axe back, Suddenly you just see his eyes get really big as he falls over backwards, and the axe thuds heavily into the ground. Torin, you remember one of the properties of Azure Edge is it can make itself 100 times heavier if it doesn't like the person that's wielding it.
Nice.
So he is now
I'll
prone.
chuckle.
He ends up dropping Azure Edge and standing up, like putting his fists up, getting ready to fight with you guys. So, that brings us back around to Feywinter. That will hit. Are you using a normal arrow or a sleepy arrow?
Do the well, he still has a. I guess do the sleepy one again.
Okay. So he will use his second Indomitable and passes the save.
Can I also silver revives that one?
You certainly can.
Okay, I'll do that.
And he fails. He is unconscious. So,
All right.
Quickly
So
die.
now, okay. So since he is unconscious, did I see that he went unconscious? He fell and he went unconscious.
oh yeah, he fell backwards, stood up, like got himself ready to fight. The arrow hit him, and he just kind of toppled over.
All right. So I will stop concentration on my heat metal then. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm not trying to wake him back up.
Yep. Well, you have to use a bonus action each round or something like that to cause it to heat up enough to do damage anyway.
Okay. So I technically I can still concentrate on it. I just don't do the damage then.
Correct. But
Right,
he
so I will
is.
maintain the concentration, but I'm not heating his metal up.
Yeah, he will be unconscious for a while because of this poison. So you are able to shackle him up and haul him back to the Blackstaff, who is able to get rid of the Intellect Devourer, and you are given a Wand of Secrets.
Ooh, a wand of secrets. So what does that do?
So what it does is it has 3 charges. If you activate it, it expends a charge, and any secret doors or traps within 30 feet of you, it points to the one closest to you. And it regains
Okay.
1d3 charges at dawn. So I will put that
Oh,
in
nice.
your party sheet.
All right, let's. I guess we can have Vlar hang on to that though.
Yep.
Does it require attunement?
Let me double check, but I don't. This one does
It doesn't
not.
look like it. It doesn't. I wouldn't think it would. So it's not overpowering, other than
No, it's not
knowing the
super
information.
powerful. So, alrighty.
All right, and then we smash the Intellect Devourer and kill the Intellect Devourers with Blackstaff's
Oh, yeah.
help.
Oh yeah.
No problem.
With Blackstaff there, it's going to be pretty much impossible for him to have a chance to do anything because you guys are all going to be ready, waiting for it to pop up and just whap.
Yep.
So, but there is something creating these things that you guys need to deal with as well. So, I will leave it with that. Let's see.
All right, but the thing about it is that completes the Gray Force number 3.
Yep. And so here is the final force. Oh, I already gave that to you, but I'll reshare it. That is Force Gray number 4 about the Intellect Devourers. So you guys have that one left to do, and then finishing your plan at the inn.
Now, does the action that we took with the Harpers with the doppelgangers that also satisfies the Emerald Enclave one?
Yeah, we did that last week.
Yeah,
'Cause we-
they're not
says-
thrilled with the result, but they kind of gave you the nod that, yeah, you definitely took care of the
Well,
problematic
Harper's
ones.
were pleased because they got a couple agents, but the Emerald Enclave was okay. Well, you took care of most of the bad ones, so it was like a so-so with them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, the only one we got left is Force Grade number 4
Well, you
on
have you guys
my tracking sheet.
have you guys gone to? You guys haven't gone to the party, have you? No.
We haven't gone to a party. I'm just talking about what we have. Okay, yeah, we haven't done number 4.
Yeah. So Emerald Enclave 4, or no, that one is the Grell. Oh, sorry, that one's the Grell. You guys took care of that. Alrighty. So yeah, the one Force Grey, I think, is all of these faction quests you guys have left.
Yeah, we got the faction quest, and then our main quest that we're currently resolving by trying to.
And you think after a week or so, she'll be well cooked enough that you'll be able to get her to either start treating our folks better or just turn the whole place over to Wishes.
Yeah, and then we'll have some. I don't know what you want to call them. So, not implications, but sort of hints or suggestions to think of. Maybe you should go on your own way, and maybe you should think of a better life type thing. It's like see if I can figure out a way to have her. Well, maybe you consider retiring and drinking umbrella drinks.
Yep.
But not
So-
from me, but from different things. That's figuring that out. So
Yep.
through rumors and stuff, that maybe get the instigating some different things like so some.
Basically, finish up the intellect of ours and whatever's creating them, and then possibly head into the tavern. But we won't be meeting again till mid-December. It's from
What day is our next meeting?
just a second.
28.
23rd.
28.
Oh, I'm still in November. The 28th. There's nothing on
Let me check
the
my.
21st.
Or was it the 21st?
All right, so we've
Our
got.
next scheduled game is the 14th, and we're not playing on the 14th.
So
yeah, the
this
28th.
game will be the 28th, but you guys have Dragonlance the 21st and the 7th.
Correct. Okay.
So, alrighty. Well, you guys have a good one, and I will see you next time.
All right, Alex. I'll be over in
Thank you.
about half an hour, so go ahead
Yeah.
and get your laundry ready.
It's already ready.